This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Jeff Gardner.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today we have another good neighbor on, Jennifer Clements from Remax Realtron TurnKey Realty. Jennifer, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks, Jeff. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you for coming on the show. We were talking a little bit about it before, but I've heard many great things. We've met briefly and a couple relationships that are connected, but I'm very happy to have you on the show, and let's dive right into it.
Well, thanks. I'm very happy to be here, and thanks for inviting me today. It's a great day in January to chat about all things real estate, neighborhood, all the great things we do out here.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So tell us a little bit about your business, Jennifer.
So I'm the broker owner of Remax Realtron TurnKey, and we are a team of 8 covering essentially all of York Region, South Simcoe, and parts of Northern GTA. And we've been in the business now. Our team was incorporated in 2016. I've been doing real estate. This is my 11th year.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. And sorry, how many people were on your team?
So we have 8. 5 of us are licensed agents and 3 administrators working hard behind the scenes to make sure things are going smoothly for everyone.
Beautiful. So tell our listeners a little bit about your journey. Like 11 years, what got you into real estate? Did you always know? Was it a fork in the road? Like what made you open this business and get into real estate?
Yeah, it was a total fork in the road. I grew up with grandparents who made great investments in Muskokas and Blue Water Beach, Georgian Bay areas, and saw those cottages grow from $5,000 properties to $5 million properties. And so, buying and holding real estate is definitely, the key to building wealth. And I could see that from an early age, but it seemed like a very busy and hectic profession. And I have 3 sons, and it just didn't seem like something I could get into. I was a hockey mom, and my background is in sales and marketing. Yay, Hockey Canada. But at one point, I was doing a lot of consulting while my children were younger and helping companies with their sales and marketing businesses. And at one point, we had a little hiatus while we had to sue a company to get paid. And at that point, while we were going through the court process, I took that opportunity to get my real estate license. And I haven't looked back. It was a great decision. I started off as an independent agent, which I fully thought would be my journey and the course I would take. But I very quickly realized that this is not a business you can do part-time or slowly. And I knew I would need a partner or more than a partner to really manage expectations and keep business going around the clock. People a lot of times need realtors evenings and weekends, and it's a full-time, full-service profession. So I partnered with some real estate with another agent and some assistants, and we quickly got up to a team of 5. And since then, we've grown to a team of 8.
Great decision, I'm assuming. Never look back.
No, we've had to incorporate a lot of things that would allow us to have weekend support, evening support, help each other out. And, this is an ever-changing market. And throughout the pandemic, it has been a wild roller coaster ride.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling you before the show that we work with a lot of real estate agents, so I only know a little bit. I'm kind of privileged to work with many different business verticals, and they teach me what, they can. But I have heard that time and time again, that since the pandemic, it's kind of been, like you said, it's just like the Wild West. It's just been a roller coaster from what I've been explained.
Absolutely. Things are changing on the fly. What advice we're giving one month is completely the opposite the next. So I'm finding that, having that experience and that background, our team does particularly well in tougher, slower markets when people really need that depth of expertise and an ability to read the market, predict what's going to happen, and help people make good decisions, whether it's, go faster, slow down, stop and hold, think about it for a while. We've got a lot of experience from everything from rentals to working with difficult tenanted properties to, everything from luxury right down to the smallest fixer-upper projects. So nothing is too big or small for our team.
Beautiful. I'm going to have to pick your brain about that because I am moving to Simcoe somewhere, probably Barrie. this year, and I am procrastinating. So with all the real estate agents I work with, I should not be. So I may have to ask you a few questions about that.
Absolutely.
So this one I'm really interested in, again, because we work with many real estate agents. I hear many things, and even just my own thoughts, because I'm not a real estate agent. What are some common myths or misconceptions that people like myself, your potential audience that is not in the business, would be thinking about when it comes to real estate? I imagine a handful of things.
Oh my goodness, where would we start? If you go on social media, you'll find lists of thousands. I think one of the biggest ones is that, obviously everybody thinks that we get paid 5% for opening some doors and that's it. That unto itself is ridiculous. It's to be known that that is divided between 2 brokerages and 2 agents. Nobody gets paid until deals are sold and closed. So we don't get paid anything for our time. It might take us 6 months, a year, 3 years. We may never get paid. So really, you have to be a professional. You have to really know what you're doing. Deals have to sell and close before people are getting paid. So I think that's one of the big things that people don't understand. I think that people also don't realize just how much work goes on behind the scenes. People say, oh, you're getting paid for 3 days of work. No, I'm getting paid for, 10 years and 3 days of work. So it's all the experience and, the hard work that goes into it. Really, real estate agents are a little bit, on the legal side, we're on the financial side. We have to understand mortgages to creatively bring deals together. We have to understand the home inspection and home maintenance and all of the systems and mechanics of a property. We have to understand the home staging, the photography, videography, and the sales and marketing. So we wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, I love that. So anybody listening that thinks, it's Tuesday, they can wake up tomorrow and become a real estate agent, sell, list their house and get a new one. Feel free to try, but you may have a better time getting a real estate agent. That was something that I learned many years ago. I kind of had that silly misconception in my head that, we have new websites, we have new apps where we can list our homes, but yeah, no, it's similar in my business. The amount of back end work, just your network, just the people that you know from your 10 years, I imagine is extremely valuable to helping smoothen the process of the sales cycle for listing and selling a home.
Yeah, it really is. We actually have a business network that we run on a quarterly basis, and we call it the best in the business. And we connect and promote a lot of local businesses. So every time a home is sold, approximately $80,000 of money goes out into the community for people that are renovating. They need insurance, they need home inspections, they need staging, they need painters, handymen, junk removal, so many things. And so we have a great network of professionals that we recommend, people that are responsive, that are professional, that will do the job for us quickly, that we can rely and count on. And for that reason, we are able to really help people move things along quite quickly and present their property in the best light.
Yeah. So much back end stuff. Okay. So a little bit about you. Outside of business, I imagine this takes up a lot of your life, although you did say earlier that you found a way to get some weekend support. So I hope that means you get some weekends and some evenings. You got the 3 boys, you're a hockey mom. I know, at least from my experience, that real estate agents work a lot. So outside of work, what is it you do for fun other than being a mom and a hockey mom?
Right. Well, there's a few things. I just got back from Banff. I was out skiing with one of my sons, so took advantage of a little bit of winter fun out there. I play hockey myself. I have been involved in hockey since I was very young. So whether it's been coaching or playing or just cheering on the kids at the arena, all of that, sponsoring teams. So I sponsor teams, the Central York Panthers and the Newmarket Renegades. So a lot of hockey involvement. I love to read, and the odd wine tasting somehow fits into my schedule.
Of course, it somehow sneaks its way in. This is more for me. I'm sure somebody else listening, but I'm a big fan of books. You got any first thing that comes to mind? Are you fiction, nonfiction?
A little bit of everything. I just finished Elon Musk, and I could not put that book down. Wow, that is a game changer and complete eye opener. And I had no idea when I picked it up. I thought I might not get through a thick book on rocket science, but it was incredible. Like just how he thinks and his processes, systems, his algorithm. It actually applies to business. And, I've made some adjustments already in my own business based on guidance and advice that I picked up along the way.
Now, there's been a few bios on him. Is this the Walter Isaacson bio that you're talking about?
It is.
Really thick hardcover?
Really thick hardcover. Yes. Yeah. And it's wild. And, they sit around talking about guys at a boardroom table. They're discussing people moving, going to Mars and what they're going to wear there. And these guys are saying, and, this is an everyday conversation at these tables.
I know. I'm stressing about having too many emails on my, computer here and how to organize it. And they're talking about what they're going to wear on Mars. So different thought process entirely. He's a very unique individual. There's no question. Very interesting.
Yeah. Running 6 businesses, putting people on Mars, revolutionizing, the energy industry. I'm trying to run 1 business. He's doing 6 simultaneously.
I know. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Outside of the fun, this is one of my, I just find it so interesting to learn. We often portray the best part of our lives, which I don't see the problem with it at all, but I do see the value in not just the best part of our lives, but the challenging part of our lives. So can you describe to the audience a hardship or a major fork in the road that maybe you didn't want to take, but you knew you had to take? And certainly looking back in hindsight, it was not a regret. It helped you become the person you are today and maybe was quite valuable for you.
Yeah, I think I can pin that one back to my decision to go out of town for university. I was a very shy person growing up, and that was just my natural introverted persona, and that was my personality. And so to make a decision to go away where I didn't know anybody, to a town I'd never been to before, and have to start completely fresh, meet all new people, I think that was really a jumping off point for me to get over some of the shyness that I have. I really like to be in a crowd and with people, but it tends to be more people that I know. And so being in real estate, you really have to have a good network, and you have to jump in and you have to meet people that you don't know, and you have to solve problems that you don't know how to solve quickly at all times of the day and night, regardless of what's happening in your personal life. So I think that was a big decision for me. And my first year was, was a bit of a struggle, like it would be for many people. I know a lot of first year college and university students that, they are wondering if this is the right thing for them. But by my second, third year and so on, I got into a co-op program in business and communications, and that has set me up for success, and a lot of great opportunities have come from that.
So you moved away on your own, I'm assuming.
I did.
No one else there.
No.
And so what was I love the co-op part. That was a great takeaway. So for anybody listening, try to get involved in something like that so you can get some, real-time experience. But what do you think was the main thing you learned, or what do you think was the main thing you needed to get so much value out of moving away, going out there on your own? Was it just that facing of the fear that now you can do it?
Yeah, I think it was just not having the cushion. Like there I was, I didn't know a single person. There was I just had to put myself out there and attend things, that I didn't know anybody. And within hours of being on campus, I'm stumbling along with my map, trying to figure out where I'm going to get to the Frosh barbecue for kids that didn't live on campus. Mm-hmm. And I hear, "Hey, Blondie." And I'm looking around, and sure enough, one of my continued best friends was sitting there with somebody that she'd introduced herself to, and she'd come from New Brunswick, and our other friend had come from Etobicoke, and we ended up becoming the 3 Musketeers in first year. And that was a great experience and great friends and a good lifetime lesson about putting yourself out there into situations, getting outside your comfort zone, I think was really the message for me.
Yeah. And I mean, for really any business, but certainly for entrepreneurs, there's just so many uncomfortable situations that you need to face. So going out there and living on your own, exposing yourself to that, and just learning that this has to be done. I have no backup plan or safety net. I think can gain some very valuable skills for just life in general, not just business. So I think that is great. What is one thing you wish our listeners knew about your business, specifically yours, not just the real estate industry?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, certainly as TurnKey, we like to set ourselves apart. I think one of the key things people don't realize is just how much we can do off the market. And most people think that the search begins when they start looking on MLS, but truly, we are listing a lot of properties before they ever hit MLS. Our team has an enormous number of pocket listings. We are helping people find properties that aren't even on the market. So, Jeff, when you're telling me I'm looking for something in Barrie, we can often connect you with a person who might not even have their home on the market. We might be able to door knock, send some letters, tap into our local market, our network of real estate agents, or even our business network, and find a great property for you. So we put about 15 people in homes last year without having them ever hit MLS, which really helps you as a buyer because you avoid a lot of the competition, and sometimes as a seller because you can avoid 5,000 people coming through your house and the inconvenience of showings. And in the pandemic, when you were living and working and going to school and exercising and doing all those things from home, sometimes people want things to go smoothly. They're looking for that, it's an experience, not just, we can avoid some of the chaos, and we can definitely help to connect the right people when you're looking for a property.
Yeah. So, I mean, all the things that you've listed, I was taught at a young age, like I'll just use cutting your lawn as an example. It's like, if you have better things to do and you can pay somebody to do that, and that gives you time back, because time is limited and it's finite, we don't get any more of it. Maybe choose that, not to mention the stress. You have so many things going on in your life, and I still have to cut the grass. I still have to shovel the driveway. We're all capable of doing it, but that's something so simple. We all can just easily go out there and cut the grass, yet you see so many people do it. Selling a house, to me, is a very complicated thing. So if I'm willing to pay somebody to shovel or cut my lawn because of stress and freeing up time for me, then it absolutely makes sense to go to real estate agent to make that process smooth and allow me to get back to my life. I think that's the whole point. I didn't realize so much went into what you guys do on a day-to-day basis, but it makes sense. With the agents that I've come across, the amount of work it seems consistent across the board. We work a lot, really hard, evenings, weekends, all the time. So I give you a lot of credit. And I did not know that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you said around the average home puts about $80,000 into the community. That's huge.
It's a big amount, and we do a lot to give back to the community and look after local charities. This year, I've given $10,000 to the Children's Miracle Network and Sick Kids Hospital from the proceeds of my transactions. We also look after the food pantry and In From the Cold, 100 Women Who Care. So there's a lot of different places that we like to give back in the community. And I think that's important. And I just would like to say, in addition to all the hard work, I think one of the most important things about all of this is the legal protection that we provide for people. This is really, truly the biggest financial decision of people's lives. And I see so many things go wrong. And a lot of people truly don't understand what they're signing, what they're doing. And with the new recent changes in real estate that came out on January 1st, there's now a thing called a self-represented party. And there's a whole 15-page guide document that explains to you why you shouldn't do that. And yet so many people are, because they think they might save $1,000 or $2,000 along the way. But when we're able to negotiate and creatively put deals together and connect people with the right lenders and make sure that we have all of the I's dotted and T's crossed, we can save people tens of thousands of dollars and avoid enormous mistakes and issues and problems, and make sure that deals come together and close properly with the least amount of obstacles and hassles, because there's a lot of complications that happen out there. We're dealing with people's homes and their lives, and there's a lot of parties and a lot of moving parts. So just really making sure that we have all of those contractual obligations sorted out, and the wording in these contracts can make or break a whole deal.
And I imagine hard to understand, probably lawyer speak, right?
A
in the
lot of
contract.
it, and people
Yeah.
don't really know what they're putting in there, and they don't really know what they should be putting in there. So just having this depth of experience really helps us to make sure that our people are well looked after and fully protected every step of the way.
Yeah, well, it's clear to me that you've done this before, and I don't know where that misconception came. I imagine a couple of people were successful in selling their own home, and somehow that spread. But while you're saying all this, I'm just thinking about some of the things that are common to people. Most of us buy our cars from dealerships. There are used cars. Some people go on Facebook Marketplace and Kijiji, but I imagine the stat would lead us to believe that most people will buy their cars from professionals, which is a much smaller investment than a house. Some people go through their whole life, maybe buying two homes, maybe buying one. I imagine the average of us are not buying 5 or 6 homes. So it's you don't even have the experience to back it up on. If we were all buying 10 or 20 homes, you learn a little bit more each time. But if you're going to do this once or twice, um, yeah, just get a real estate agent is what's going through my head.
Well, you
So
make a good point. And you know what? If you're going to hire, if you're going to get heart surgery, if you're going to do some of the things that we think about, you want the best person in your corner. And there's a lot more going on with negotiations. My entire team is professionally certified in real estate negotiations. There's a lot of things that can come off the rails and a lot of things people don't realize. And truly, there's also a lot of people that get into real estate. Every time the market goes up, another 100,000 people get their license. And every time it goes down, 200,000 drop off. So we're dealing with people who may or may not remember to open the doors or lock the doors or, the things that go on. So, just having somebody who can really interpret the contracts and point you in the right direction and maybe prevent you from making a mistake. We do a lot of business, and I know when it's right for somebody and not right for somebody. And sometimes I can give somebody some cause to pause. You don't need to take this property. There's another one that's going to be coming along. This would worry me. I wouldn't do this. Here are some things that would be a concern. We're trying to avoid people putting themselves in difficult situations. Nobody wants to buy the money pit.
yeah, yeah, well said. Well said. And it just keeps popping up into my head throughout this conversation. There's just so much complexity to it. Once that stress reaches a certain level with me, it's just like, it's now no longer worth it. I'm just going to get somebody to do it. The peace of mind often is worth much more than the money. So I appreciate you sharing all that information with us. Jennifer, one of my favorite questions is personal and business, just as a human. I mean, at the end of the day, the way I look at it is the game we're playing is the game of life. Business is in that, parents are in that, kids are in that, but those are just different hats we're wearing in the big game. And we have no idea how long that big game will last. What kind of impact do you want to leave as a person, as a business person on the world?
Yeah, that's something I've given a lot of thought to. When you put blood, sweat, and tears into starting and investing in a business and building a team, it's around the clock. It really is all the time. And, so I think about that a lot. And I even started my company not in my own name, but in the name of Remax Turnkey, so that there would be a legacy, that there would be a succession plan. One of my kids is interested and currently in college right now, getting some background in real estate. I have younger agents on my team who are rock stars that will obviously be able to carry this. So we really have a great dynamic going on our team so that we can, make sure that we have tap into all the different generations and all of the different thinking styles and all of the different approaches. So we've got a depth of experience with a lot of fresh blood and energy as well. So I think that, for me, it is really important. I'm still trying to figure out the meaning of life. And most importantly, how do I buy back some time? So I've found out there's a book called Buy Back Your Time, which I'm going to read that next. So I think that's, for me, I think my dad was a vice principal and a big fan of having a great balance. He was a Canadian geographer and drove our family from coast to coast, right across the country. And I think that business and working all the time is not the answer. I think success comes in having a balance and the relationships and the experiences that you have along the way. And I'm really trying to work that out. I am partway through the book, Die with Zero. And I think making sure that we are having those life experiences and not saving it all for a rainy day is an important lesson.
Yeah, I don't know that book, but I imagine it's somewhere along the lines of do it all. Like the picture that I have in my head that was passed on to me by a mentor is you have you have like a face cloth or a towel that's wet, right? And you're just wringing it out into that very last drop, like be used up by the time your last day comes. So I love that you're thinking that way. And yeah, the meaning of life, I don't know. I think it's all individual. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it means, but it's been very interesting trying to figure that out. And really, it seems like through this whole process, you're helping people. You said in from the cold, and a number of other places in Newmarket. We also help in from the cold. I work at an addictions facility on the weekend as a counselor, Cornerstone of Recovery right there on Bayview and Mulock. And it's very fulfilling to leave an impact on other people. And it seems like you're building a business that will last beyond your time. I think that was a very smart decision if that's what you want to do, to not brand it your name, as we see many real estate agents branding their name. It's a hard thing to pass on to somebody else when that person is no longer there. So I think that was a very selfless and long play that you made, and kudos to you for doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, one of the things I learned early on is build it the way you want to see it down the road. You have to think ahead, and you have to put the pieces in place for where you want to go as opposed to where you are now. And I think that really helps you to avoid redoing things along the way.
Yeah, it's a very tough mentality to get into. It's like planning out your game that you haven't played before. Where am I going to be in 10 or 15 or 20 years? What would be good decisions for now, when you're like, I just got to pay my employees by next week. So it's amazing to have that foresight. I think a lot of people struggle with it. But Jennifer, it was a pleasure having you on the show. I appreciate all the information. Before we wrap, how can people find out about you?
Well, they can find us on our website, www.remaxturnkey.ca. We're located at 1140 Stellar Drive in Newmarket, and we are available by phone, text, email, carrier pigeon, whatever you need. We are here.
Beautiful. I love it. People that are listening, if you're thinking about selling your house or renting or whatever you're doing, at least call them so you can get an idea of all that goes into it. Maybe I'm just not that brave, but when I hear what I just heard you say, it's a no-brainer for me to get a reputable real estate agent helping me along that way. There's many other things we have to do in the day. I do not want to deal with the selling of my house. So thank you for teaching us all that, Jennifer. I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's never too soon to talk to a realtor. We do lots of free consultations, and we're always happy to have a chat or a coffee and just answer your questions.
Beautiful. Thanks, Jennifer.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com, or call 705-413-3775.